We're live, right? I thought you were going to give an audio sign.
No, that defeats the whole purpose, dude.
You did. Well, you would start with like 3 or something, and then go to a signal to let me know, because I wasn't looking at you.
It didn't tell us. It didn't give me a thing. It was just like it's going.
It's okay. This is the VHL version, so we're allowed to be a little more ourselves. Wait, we're ourselves and all of them. What am I talking about? Welcome, VHL. Welcome to the live Pajodcast via webcam. We got Cal Snow with us.
Hello, everyone.
You're using the. I don't. My thing is all set so that it doesn't switch automatically.
Oh, that's because you haven't clicked on someone. I'm doing it properly.
How do I get off of that?
You click on whatever portrait is up for you. Come on, Ryan.
What?
Was this your first fucking day?
Click on whatever portrait is up for you.
Yeah, like there should be like a highlighted one.
That's me right now, I believe. Oh, there we go. I think I fixed it.
Cool.
It's on you right now. I don't know.
Yeah. And we've got the two of us, but we've also got Chris Miller.
Yeah, that's not Chris.
Hello. Yeah, no, I unfortunately I left my webcam at my other house. So no webcam for me, just beautiful pictures of people.
Of me.
That is true.
It could change mid-broadcast. I did change my picture technically, so I don't know why it didn't update, but we'll see.
That's okay. So we haven't casted in a little bit, I guess about a week. I'm trying to remember the last day specifically. It might be more than, it might be more than a week, because we could have casted earlier in the week last week, which I believe we did.
Yeah, I want to say it's been like eight or 9 days.
For the VHL cast, that is specifically. I mean, we've been popping these off all week.
Yeah, we've been popping off like pills, as Kessler would say.
So that would have been 10 days ago.
Holy shit.
That was last Tuesday.
Yep.
So the awards have been released, so we're probably going to start there, guys. And season 54 started too. And it's been a pretty good season so far. But before we kind of dig into some of the season results, I know Chris said he also wanted to dig into the current VHLM free agent situation. We had a rule update, I think. I don't know. I tried to read that update post, and
yeah, it was a fucking nightmare.
The way it was worded, I felt like there was. Listen, I'm someone who has a hard time expressing what he wants to say in very few words, but I felt like that post specifically could have gotten more to the point, easier. And if I'm saying that, you're doing it real bad, because I mean, I have a hard time doing it as it is. So
yeah, that wasn't even 3 paragraphs. That's
also Happy Easter or Good Friday or whatever for people who celebrate that stuff.
Yeah,
holidays got to be topical. So awards, guys. There were some battles in these awards this season. The BOG did the voting. I know there's been some controversy over that. I know Flyers fan. I know a couple other.
I'm sorry, you mean Fire Hackstall?
Yes, don't appreciate that that's how it's done. They don't want it even to be an award committee, but I still haven't heard suggestions from the people who disagree with how we're currently doing it. Like, obviously, the rest of us have always opined for an award committee over just BOG. But there are people who disagree with that completely. I don't know if they want to go back to the old GM way. I don't see how that avoids the same bias issue, especially since half the people in the BOG are GMs anyway. It's just one of those cases where I think we're just trying to make sure that there's debate on it, period. There has to be, because it's just about being fair to the award winners,
Right, and I think discussion also helps out quite a bit too, where if someone has like an out there vote and you don't know why, it's a lot easier to see. Like, for example, if we were doing just random votes and we saw that Streetlight was really adamant that Yuliarvi be the MVP, if we just see that as a vote, we're just like, fucking Streetlight's an idiot. Like, that doesn't make any sense. After the discussion, though I still didn't agree with his points, I could see his point of view, and it was like, yeah, this is a legitimate point. I don't agree with what he's saying, but I understand why he came to that conclusion, and I accept that he came to that conclusion. That's a valid vote in my opinion, which I don't think would have been the case without that discussion.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, right? It would have been easy to look at that Yarvi vote as, and we know it was Streetlight because he's the one who advocated the most for Yarvi. It would have been easy to look at that as bias without discussion, or like you're just looking at stats, like just blank the first stat sheet. And that's the issue, is we wanted people to justify based on the definition of the word why the player was most valuable with MVP. And we felt like some of that wasn't happening. And, in the long run of it, sure, Yarvi wouldn't have won anyway, because it was only Streetlight who believed that. But I don't know. I still think that I still think that there is. I still think that there was room for us to move to this format. I mean, we might need to extend it, and we probably do need to extend it further to satisfy more members with this. And as we have more two players in the league, we're going to see more situations where there's going to be weird bias situations because players involved in the voting, it's their own players. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe the change for that is an award committee. Maybe it's not. But for now, it's what it is. So let's dig into some of these votes that some pretty interesting winners, honestly, some unexpected winners. We'll start with just covering top leader and then move up. The top leader this season was voted on, as always, by the community, and it went to Helsinki's franchise cornerstone. So congratulations, Bobby.
Yeah.
It's kind of a two-horse race between him and Digital, with a little bit of Quebec's J. Rutu sprinkled in there, or Fabio Rutu, I believe his current player is named.
Fabio Jokinen?
Was Jokinen, right? Yes, I knew that.
Rutu was his first player, I want to say? I wasn't here for that, I don't think.
I couldn't remember if he kept the name, if he was keeping with that, or if he changed it to Jokinen. Jokinen's a common hockey name. A lot of people use it.
It's true.
That was a pretty good choice. I think, the flack that Helsinki gets usually is always centered around their troll aspects, and Bobby's the opposite of that. Bobby's kind of the leader. He's kind of the legit, hey, I'm a good member, I'm a leader, I'm at the core of this.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite Titan, and I'm not biased at all because he's making us a sweet, sweet logo or anything like that. But
yeah, well, I've always been a big fan of Bobby since he started, really since before he took over Stockholm. He kind of took on a big initiative of taking over the graphics perspective of the league, and I mean that's awesome. And then he relocated Vassars to Stockholm, built a great graphic for them, built a great team aesthetic and atmosphere. And, how can you not like members like that? I know for me, when I wanted to go to Helsinki in the draft, it was him. He was a big part of that, as same with, the Pajodcast most underrated member, aka Solus, Theo Axe. We always go over.
Yeah.
Chris, any thoughts on the top leader, since you've been pretty quiet?
No, not really.
Yeah. Well,
my opinion is not as strong of Bobby, so we'll just move on from there.
Chris is not a Bobby fan.
You should know that, Ryan, since he's called me many of things in my time here.
Oh, come on. He's fine.
We'll just move on.
But he's making us a sweet logo, Chris.
That's nice. He was a deserving winner, though. I will say that.
Okay, well, at least we can separate personal dislike from award voting.
He is the most respectable member of the Helsinki Titans, not named Solus.
Yeah. Also, to be fair,
I was going to see if Chris would give me that one, but he did.
I didn't hear what you said because Kyle kind of.
I said he's the most respectable member and player of the Helsinki Titans, not named Solus.
Bar's not set that high, Chris. Look at the rest of them.
Respectable player. I don't know how we determine that, but
I mean, Lord Carnage. I'm talking about like history in terms of quality. Like he makes quality players now, but isn't like he doesn't rub it in your. He doesn't rub it in your face. Higgins rubs all his players in everyone's faces.
Oh, he's not that bad.
Bobby's like probably, other than Solus, obviously the most humble of that team.
Okay.
Well, let's look at the rest of that team, Chris.
He complained the entire Carnage's career that he wasn't winning awards, so I don't know about that.
I don't recall him like making big fusses. I don't know.
And pretty much,
it up, but
from what I remember, every award show was pissed that he didn't win a big award. And at the end of his career, he said the same thing. However, I think at the end, he still considered his player a disappointment. So I don't know, even though he had a ridiculously good career.
He's obviously in the Hall of Fame. Like he's a great
and had a great career.
I
don't
recall him being mad at that. I recall him being.
I've had some conversations.
Win more awards, but publicly,
he felt people held a bias against him, including Kendrick, obviously. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't conflicts, but I still think that he does a very good job around the league, and he's still a good member. So
I don't think anybody, even Kendrick, would disagree with that.
Started getting pissed off with me when I got Banna from his team. And he said I tampered for about 3 years or so. He said I tampered the entire time.
How long ago is all this stuff, though? Like, we're talking about calendar years now. Like, it's been a long time since Bobby's been involved in any serious drama.
That was, like, I don't know, 10 months ago.
That's almost a year. That's a long time. That's
not like it hasn't kept going since then.
I don't feel
We've only recently started being better about it. But even then, I mean, he still says, look, you guys have a different opinion about Bobby. It's fine. Just like he probably has a different opinion of you guys than me. That's fine.
Yeah, that's true. That just shows that we're not all three people as an individual. And I think anyone who knows us a little deeper, even Kendrick, who kind of criticized us of that at points, started to realize as he talked to each of us individually, oh, they aren't just one group that just attacks everything, because there's lots of times
We are one.
we
We
disagree
are
with lots of each
Pajodcast.
other. Even right now, for example. And again, I've always had a better relationship with Bobby, and I don't know what has motivated that, but
Well, you've changed the Americans logo a couple times. I think he did 2 of them for you, didn't he? So
well,
there was.
I only changed the Americans logo once, not a couple times.
You did like when you took over the first time. I remember because I was like, you can't make it red. This is red.
That's not the logo. I changed the background color of the jersey, which isn't even a change. I just got people to do jersey changes. But Boom was doing more graphics for me.
That's right. I'm sorry.
But it's not just because he does graphics for me. I've had some conversations with him. I liked what he did with Stockholm. Like I remember when he was GMing Stockholm, I was like, I'd love to play there. Like, so I think he's a solid member, and I can't not respect people who do a lot of work around this league, especially such quality work. Like I know him as a person is like he's doing this stuff as a career. Like he went to school for it. Like he takes this stuff seriously, and I respect that. That's cool.
It isn't like I don't respect him.
Okay.
I just disagree with him a lot on things.
Yeah, and I mean he's in the BOG
for about 2 years now,
and
so my opinion, not as strong, not as big of a fan, but that's fine. I mean, look, there's a lot of he doesn't like Kendrick. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say there's
people he doesn't like either. That's fine.
There's a lot of people in the BOG that have issues with each other. You know, you mentioned Bobby and Kendrick having issues, both of them into the BOG, and I remember when we were adding Bobby, I don't remember people, even the Kendricks of the world, getting that mad about it. You know, at a certain point, getting added to the BOG is just about doing enough around the board that shows us that you simply care about the league, regardless if you agree or disagree with certain members. If anything,
true.
That's better. We want people to poke, as Kyle said on the board several times, poke holes in ideas so that we can make sure that the ideas are as good as possible and executed as effectively as possible. So
yeah, even ideas that you may agree with in principle, you want to try to smooth everything out. And yeah, like Bobby and Kendrick are a good example of that. Me and Sterling have been bickering quite a bit lately too. Not as much like really recently, but we had a couple times back and forth. I wouldn't say that I don't like, oh, well, fuck Sterling. He doesn't deserve to be in the board of governors. He hasn't done anything for this league in the last decade. Like that would be absurd.
Okay. We will.
So that was top leader. Jesus Christ.
We spent too much time on top leader. Most improved went to Apollo Sky. He got 11 votes. We had a vote for Shankly and a vote for Diana Maxwell. I was a little surprised by, not that Sky won. I thought that, for example, all 3 players on the ballot had pretty legitimate arguments, but I was just 11. I didn't think it would be such a dominating vote. I kind of thought more people would even lean Maxwell. I was the only Shankly vote. For the record, we talked about this in a previous cast, who we voted for. But you guys both went with Sky. Obviously, that's where the decision landed. I mean, congratulations to that's Valevra, correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Also, I just realized
having a good career on Quebec on a team that. Sad that they haven't been competitive enough to get him a cup, but he's had some good stats. So
yeah, I thought his name was Velvira for like solid 6 months. So, geez, that's usually your job, fucking up people's names, Ryan.
Yep, I'm the Don Cherry. I was just thinking about that when I was watching Don Cherry the other day. I was just like, man, am I him? Just this old guy who
oh my god
rants and then just messes up names. Like he said Alex Peter Angelo every time, and every time I'm like, oh no,
dude, Lalongo.
Cherry, what are you doing, Peter Angelo?
Peter Angelo.
It's not even spelled Peter.
There's only one L in Luongo too, but apparently Lalongo is the.
His biggest crime is saying Ty Domi. He did that for his entire career.
Oh, I'm not into that one.
Max Domi, son of Ty.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he still says it for Max, but I assume he does because he said it for Ty his entire career. Yeah. And still does. So
also, I think his biggest crime might be some of those suits.
I don't know. He had a really cool one on last night that was like, it was like all red, and then the tie was Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and all that other stuff.
You want to know what he wore before?
Yeah. The night before was worse.
Where he was wearing a bright white suit with just cherries on it.
Cherries on it, yeah.
So I was at work and I walked by like the TV.
His name's Don. Oh, that's so.
Yeah,
great.
No, it's not great. I almost dropped a tray of drinks because it was blinding.
Don Cherry's fantastic. Okay, it was funny too. Well, not funny. It was bad funny, like dad joke. Because McLean made a bad one-liner at the end. He was asking who Mickey, what song Mickey is you know, because on the tie, Mickey was like doing an orchestra, like, and he said Mozart, you know.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, we're on McLean. That was some dad
Most
joke.
sportsmanlike.
That's
Tom
good.
Lincoln.
Just move on from that one real quick.
Yeah.
I went to Tom Lincoln. He beat Ravenwing 12-1. I know that Dermeester's been really gunning for this award, but it was an obvious one there. And I don't.
Too many points. He had too many penalties. 8 minutes in penalties. Fucking come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Gotta stay out of the box.
Who gets more pimps? Ravenwing's at 4 right now too in this season, so it's like, oh no.
Oh, scrub numbers.
Like Lincoln's still at 0. Believe it or not, I thought unassisted was at 0. And I was like, okay, if that continues, I mean, holy crap.
You got some good guys there who just don't take penalties.
See, that's how it works. Because Sharp's the only one. Sharp and Shankly are the physical guys, but they're my least important players from a team.
Wow. Okay.
It's okay that they're off, right? And then if they take off important players from the other team, then my important players get advantages on the ice against teams that don't have as many important players. I don't know.
You're like the guy who's like trying to justify that he has like every player is like perfect for like the best players in the whole, like, you know, like the super biased fans. Where it's like, no, our third line winger is way better than every other team's starting line because he does this stupid thing for his team. It's just.
But listen, I never said that Sharp was better than a team starting line.
Yeah.
And we all know that if Tyson Kohler's lining up and Robert Sharp's on the other end, Tyson Kohler's going to score a goal in most.
Robert Sharp is a person. Yeah. Not you're thinking of motherfucker Sharp. You know Robert Sharp is Bekatov, right?
I know that, but I always call him Robert Sharp, Stardy's player, like in my head because.
Well, and you also know that you have Robert Sharp on your team.
Fuck it. Anyway, most sportsmen went to Tom Lincoln. It was an obvious answer. Executive of the Year went to.
Sorry, Sharp.
You can cut to him. Let's hear the award speech. Actually, Chris, you went up on stage. You won the award. You're the best GM of the season. Go.
I'd like to thank my family, Kyle Snow and Ryan Power, for their great support over the years. I'd like to look at Higgins at this point and tell him to fuck right off because I was way better this year.
I mean,
Shots fucking fired.
I don't know how you can win top GM when
Also,
you're not even GMing draftees that are interested in coming.
Excuse me, it's my speech, bitch. And also, I'd like to say fuck the Titans and fuck the 4 people who did not vote for me. That should have been 13-0.
Who do we think the 4 people were? I'm going to say Boo Bobby.
Streetlight, Boo Bobby, Higgins, and somebody else.
Sterling.
Probably.
I think it was Ryan. I think Ryan was the 4th guy.
No, I voted with Miller.
Obviously, so did I. Because we're super biased and we're all one person.
No, there was. That's why 9. There's only 3 of us. So apparently we're biased enough to influence 6 other votes.
Yeah, dude. No, dude. We fucking come on. We all know that the other members of the Bog are all Boom. You think Boom and Asian Boom are the only Boom accounts? Fucking
yeah,
no
of course. Yeah. Congratulations, Chris, and your speech. I just got to say, reaction to that, all the feels. No,
I think I just won next year's top GM as well.
Oh, for sure. I think I just have to say
I don't believe in repeat votes.
I think you can have repeat votes if you like. I actually think Chris may have a decent case because of how much of the team has changed.
Yeah, that's true. The Max Muff deal. I mean, I guess I would make the argument if New York wins the Cup and Holick wins playoff MVP, then I probably have a legit case because I completely took a gamble on that.
Yeah, there's no gamble. Come on.
He has one defenseman. This is a real gamble.
The option was like a 200 TP defenseman. It was the right move. It was the obvious move. It was not a gamble.
I don't think you can say obvious when no other competing team has ever done it before. Ryan made history.
Excuse me?
Has any competing team ever
Rick Wall and Thomas Tukio?
You ran with literally one defenseman?
Not 2 goalies, 1 defenseman.
Yeah, I had 2 defensemen and one of them at 180 TP.
That don't matter.
That's 180 more TP than NYD1
with 1 defenseman.
If you win the Cup with 1 defenseman, you still don't deserve it.
Well, the Cup has no implication on this award, Chris. This is why we took away from the GMs.
That's true.
Wait, are you sure? Because I swear I read about 7 people in the BOG disagree with that.
Okay. We're going to move on. The next
Jesus
award
Christ.
is the top 2-way
Chris is
forward.
spitting some fucking fire tonight.
Yeah, the top 2-way forward went to... Everyone knows this already. I don't know why I'm drumming.
AK-47.
This inactive piece of shit keeps winning awards, and it's bothering me.
He's a good player, though. He built his player smartly.
701, you piece of crap.
Yeah, he's done that with other players in this league too, by the way, if I recall correctly. He has this history of building players that are like 500 TPE and they go inactive and still somehow do better than all of Dutch-Fifa's players.
I don't know if he... well,
To be fair,
let's actually set a high
Dutch-Fifa, you need to not retire. That's the issue. Just go inactive. Your players will then suddenly tear it up. Take the 701 approach. You're both trolls, but he does it smarter.
Jesus Christ.
Kidding.
Wait, you're referring to us, like people who have literally owned the top defenseman award for about a decade?
Yeah. High five, Chris.
I did. I air 5. Don't worry.
Oh, no, that would have been great. We could have done like a visual thing where like I go in one side, and if you had your camera, you could have taken it from the other side. That would have been nice, but somebody forgot his fucking webcam.
All right. Congrats to AK. Congrats to 701 inactive. It was an obvious vote. 11 1 for the other candidates. Top rookie.
Oh, I'm going to do this one because I have a good joke prepared. Top rookie. This was obviously Alexander Thrower. He won with 12 votes with 1 thrower away vote to Power.
Who voted that? Not me.
I just nothing for the throw away.
I don't know.
Whoever made that vote seriously should have their voting privileges like taken away.
I might think, okay, well,
trust the process.
The only way it makes any sense is if Greg didn't want to vote himself.
Is Greg in the bug?
I don't even know.
I don't think he is.
Okay,
I just assumed Greg was because he's a
Kendrick.
He's a big member.
Who did it? Let us know. Who are you? But Chris put this thing where now we're saying we're insulting you, whoever it is. But I'm just justify it. Like that's like what?
There is no justification. That's why I'm insulting them.
The only justification would be that I don't take thrower stats seriously. But at that point, there's other candidates better than.
That's not fair.
You were terrible in the regular season.
He had 120 points. He literally has had the third.
I had a good goal.
He is the third best rookie season of all time.
Yeah.
Behind the guy it's named after, and Jardy Bunkleworth, who had like 500 TP. I'm exaggerating, but he had a ton of TP going into his rookie season because he used to bank it, right?
Obvious win for thrower there. Moving on to top goalie. This one wasn't obvious, but it ended up being. Holik won with 12 votes. Sky had a single vote. I thought it'd be a closer vote personally. There was some good arguments made for both players. I didn't think it would be split down the middle, but I thought maybe Holik would win 8-5, or 7-6, or one of those. I guess 7-6 is really close, but 8-4.
Yeah, that's literally as close as I can get.
Yeah. Anyway, I congratulations to Bektov. I know he's really wanted to beat out Sky for this award. Yeah. I think it's interesting how the goalie went to Holik. Yet we'll get to it, but. Sky won another award that was like, what?
This was no surprise. There was actually no arguments made for Sky in the top goalie thread. They were only made in the MVP thread.
Well, so, yeah, I think that I felt like that influenced the top goalie as well.
Says, if you look through the thread, it says Holik for me as well. Holik as well. Yeah, I lean to Holik. You guys sure you don't want to consider Astrid Moon? I had to throw that in there. Holik should win one of these.
That sounds like me. Oh, God damn it.
I thought I saw one person in that thread say Sky.
Of course I liked it.
No, Holik should win one of these. Although he actually, yeah, you're right. Gorlab said he'd vote for Sky. Yeah, so that might have been the vote.
Say they'd vote for
also,
Sky.
Now that I think about it, I think that I made that
all
same
the debates for these type of stats were happening in MVP, but like we were seeing more advanced numbers in there that would have allowed us to inform these decisions a little better, which is why it kind of felt like all the debates this season were happening in that one thread anyway. So top D. Close vote. Very close vote.
Yeah, this one had a lot of discussion both ways, I think, in the thread.
Yeah. Between the two. I leaned Velvet at the end of the day.
As did I.
But the winner was
Jeff
Hamilton. And Hamilton won 7-6. So quite literally, the Pajodcast was torn on it, and where the majority of the Pajodcast leaned was incorrect with the rest of the
I wouldn't say incorrect. We were just in the minority.
Yeah, well, we were in the, I don't know, I guess that's a minority.
Yeah. That
one person less.
Less than 50%, Ryan.
That's a terrible way to define minority.
No, that's not.
No,
literally.
I would define minority as 10% or less.
No, that doesn't make any sense. It's less than 50. Like, what the fuck?
But it implies that nobody agreed with you.
It implies that, no, it doesn't imply that nobody agrees with you. It implies that less people agree, more people disagree with you than agree with you.
I'm talking about in the public spectrum, not the technical
definition of minority, the smaller number.
Devise just finished saying, I'm talking about in the public perception, not the technical definition. So go ahead and define the technical definition. I agree with you. The technical definition fits in with what you guys were saying. Congratulations. I tell people all the time, when you say minority, they think you mean low amount of people. So it's not a big deal. That's why I would rather say split or close to half, because that implies it's a bigger deal. I don't know.
Who thinks that?
Lots of people. I've talked to people.
A minority? Then they need to learn what that means.
People that like.
Well, then they should learn what it means
to me and such. Like that's
should know what minority means. The majority versus minority. Majority means more people. Minority
I would rather define it as actual stats. So you're giving real numbers. 7 to 6. 51% to 49%, quite literally.
Majority have voted for.
I don't care about the word majority and minority here. I'm going to say that instead because it's important to identify that because technically the Sky vote was in the minority, but Sky lost 12-1. That's a bigger number. That's referencing those stats is relevant.
Yeah, of course it is.
Cover it
sure it is. No one's saying that you're
confuses
wrong.
Things that don't need to be confused. And I've talked to people. That's what I'm saying. I know people. That's how they get those things confused, which is why I'd rather just not use labels. Let's use the real numbers. Anyway.
It just made me think of the guy who's like, we don't have to define what we are, girl. Boyfriend, girlfriend, who needs labels? Because like they just clearly want to just keep everything.
Anyway, it's a silly debate.
Yeah.
Hamilton, the debate for the defenseman wasn't. I still was kind of surprised that it went Hamilton. But the points were, he had like 9 more points, was it? I think, and obviously more goals. That was a big factor, I think, in the win at the end of the day. So congratulations on Sterling, probably his last player too. But
actually, the reason he probably won is he led in like 8 of the 9 stats. But yeah,
I mean, he had more points. I don't see how leading in stats like plus minus really.
I mean, he had more goals, the same amount of assists, more points, better plus minus, less penalties taken. More shot blocks, and actually had a game-winning goal and had 8 of them.
True. He had, like I said, goals. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's
offensive stats. That
more than just one statistic.
Oh, sure. I said more than one, to be fair, but yeah. Playoff MVP.
We should mention the other ones quickly anyway. Leading assists, Yoligarvi with 100. Leading goals, AK-47 with 73. Leading points, Yoligarvi with 162. There's no debate on those. Those are just concrete facts. Playoff MVP?
Playoff MVP went to Diana Maxwell.
Ryan, you wanna do your thing?
I can't. There are people here. That would be rude.
Okay.
Everyone's home. It is a holiday.
Oh, right. Good Friday.
Someone has rung the doorbell.
Oh, okay. Playoff MVP, Diana Maxwell.
Correct.
She had 7 votes. Power had 5. It's okay. Kohler had 1.
Playoff MVP, Diana Maxwell. Power had 5 votes, as Kyle said. Kohler had 1. Pretty relatively close vote. Obviously, if one vote that went to Kohler had went to Power, it would be 7-6. I think that this was a close one, and congratulations to Streetlight. I know he's happy to have finally won a award with Maxwell to this degree.
I don't really agree with Kohler getting a vote. I don't know. I have a hard time voting for anyone who was on the losing team.
I generally do too, but I understand. Like, I'm not like
he had a great playoff run, and don't get me wrong. And if Stockholm won, he was the easy choice. It's just
for sure.
Even if Stockholm lost, I would have been more comfortable seeing a vote for him if he would have had an impact in the last game of the season or the series as well. Like if it was like 3-2 New York and Kohler had a couple of points, for sure. Like I get it.
Everyone say hi to Ryan's roommate.
Yes, with a bunch of stuff.
We're going to start a live unboxing video here on the Pajodcast.
I don't know what this is. This might be our neighbor brought some stuff over for us.
Is it jam?
For the holidays, yeah. We have some jam. We have some Sunripe 100% juice. Welcome, Pajodcast, to this unboxing. We have some...
This is so stupid. Like the worst way for us to go off topic.
We have some Ferrero collections.
Ferrero Rocher!
This stuff looks actually kind of crazy.
Did you just call it Ferrero, Ryan? It's Ferrero.
What is this? Marco Polo.
He sailed the ocean blue.
It's from Poland. It's from Poland. All right, then. I don't see... Okay. That must have been the neighbor. I don't know why that came to my room, but it's now on the internet.
Maybe you have... Dude, we have fans.
Yeah, I was mailbag. Yeah,
Mailbag.
Someone sent us an Easter chocolate bag here.
Well, it makes sense though, right? Because are we still? Did it just fucking? No, okay, we're good. Sorry, I thought we had a technical issue for a second.
I mean,
it makes sense.
Maybe it was a delivery service. Maybe someone brought something.
It could be, too. Or maybe we have e-girls, Ryan. Because think about it for a second, right? I live with my girlfriend. Chris will be doing the same very shortly, and Shane's married. So, like, who else are all the babes going to be going after? But
I'm going to say it was probably our neighbor. He likes to bring stuff over, which is nice. I'm not going to, like, that's cool.
But look at this face. Like, who wouldn't want a piece of that?
Me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
For any girls who stumble across this, he is single, and he's the only one who's single. So you don't have a lot of options.
Congratulations to Diana Maxwell, Streetlight, playoff MVP, very deserving.
Maybe that's the girl.
Most outstanding player went to Yuli This is a community vote. This was obvious. This was a no-brainer. Some people gave some votes to Sky. AK-47, oddly enough, had a couple of votes. He did have a lot of goals. Holik also had a couple of votes, but like 21 total community votes for Yarvi. It was, I mean, Yarvi had one of the best seasons in the VHL in recent memory in quite a while. I believe it was the best season since like before season 20 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
It's some great numbers for Yarvi. And the hotly debated MVP, which did end up being a little more of a dominating vote than I gave it credit for. Apollo Sky won for Quebec. Kohler had 3 votes. Sky had 8. Yarvi had 1. Holik had 1. I voted for Holik on this one.
You
Streetlight would have voted for Yarvi, as we know, and you two both voted for Sky, correct?
I think I voted for Sky on this one.
And Chris, you might have voted Kohler then, right? I couldn't remember.
No, I voted Sky.
Okay. All our candidates were justified by everyone. But I think the fact that Quebec most people perceive Quebec not to be a playoff team without Apollo Sky, and I think there is an argument for that. Sky was simply great for them, like not just great against bad teams either. Sky was helping that team steal wins against teams that were obviously better than them. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I think that this vote is also a really good a really good example of why the discussion is important. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, this was the one that Holik was not on the ballot for, and you wrote him in, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah, and you guys found, like, I remember the stats were something like a weird, obscure stat that, like, obviously wasn't like a non-important one, but one that you had to like dig for. It was like goals against like competitive teams or some shit like that, right? That's what
ended up bringing up all stats among MVP candidates, including goalies, about stats against competitive, like against the other playoff teams. And both Sky and Holik were within the same save percentage. Holik had 928, I believe, Sky had 928 and Holik had 927, and Holik had a little bit better of a goals against average.
Right.
Holik obviously had more wins because his team won the Victory Cup, like more wins even against playoff teams. Why I ended up choosing Holik was because I felt that without his fantastic performance, with the way New York and Stockholm were both playing, Seattle could have easily lost the Victory Cup race. And since it is a regular season award, that you're losing the top spot, right? They could have easily even fallen third without Holik. But at the same time, the argument for Sky is are they even a playoff team without him? And
yeah, for sure.
Argument, and that's the argument that a lot of people I think ended up deciding with. And
for sure. But what I was trying to get at is that discussion ends up being important, because that literally, like, if you look at these otherwise, you can see the argument for Kohler and the ones for Sky really obvious. Everyone would have been really pissed about the Yarvi vote if it was just like a random write-in vote, and everyone would have thought you were crazy for writing in Holik as a write-in candidate without those stats. Like, again, like, I didn't agree with him. Obviously, I voted for Sky, but I'm not going to be like, oh, that was a stupid vote for Yarvi or that was a stupid vote for Holik. Like, I understood both of them. But that doesn't happen without that discussion.
You can see the argument there, right? Like,
of course.
The argument isn't whether or not Holik deserves to win or is Holik better than Sky. The argument was, for me, does Holik's great stats help them win the Victory Cup? And obviously, everyone agrees with that statement.
Oh, for sure.
Then became, is that more important than Sky helping Quebec get into the playoffs, right? And then that's a personal thing between people.
Yeah, exactly. That obviously you were the minority on that one. The vocal minority.
Clearly, yeah. that was the.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we don't know how.
Minority there. I'm the only one.
I mean, I may have even agreed with you, but you had to write him in. You had to go out of your way to put him on the ballot. So maybe there would have been other people who would have agreed with you if he was written in. I think he should have probably been on the ballot, but
yeah,
I probably still would have voted for Sky. I think he should have been on the ballot too, but I think I still would have voted for Sky.
I understand why he wasn't. It was a really tough season for the MVP this year.
Oh, for sure. There were like legitimately 5 legitimate candidates. Because who's the other one that everyone was talking about?
We're going to see it again this year too, I think. It's tough when so many of the teams are built different ways to try to figure out and suss out why the teams that succeeded. And like, or what was the biggest contributor to that, right? Like,
right, and like
you look at New York this season. I'll give we'll dig into the season, and why don't we just carry this over? You look at New York or Stockholm or even Helsinki this season. What makes certain players, what makes certain teams better, right? Like, even looking at, we'll just start with New York. Would you give MVP considerations to a specific offensive player or to Holik at this point, right?
Or Digital being the only defenseman on your team. Like how much worse is that team with 2 CPUs? Because that's who you have to compare them to.
Take the season. Let's take the season for both teams 10 games in. Stockholm has scored 40 goals, the most for in the league, or sorry, the second most for in the league, and they've given up 19, which is the third best. So their goalie's been good, their defense has been good, their offense has been good. I mean, what is the biggest reason for them winning right now? Probably because they're a good team, right?
No, I think it's because of Xander Finn's face-off percentage. That's your MVP.
You're right, Xander Finn.
Hashtag no bias.
And the same thing goes for Quebec and New York. Those teams have also scored a lot of goals and not given up a lot. So it's one of those cases where they're stat padding, but when their goalie's having shutouts or 1-goal games, you're like, they would have won if they only had 2 goals, but they had 7. So
How games they would have won with 1 goal.
How do you determine how these teams win? And I think that you're going to see more instances where teams that sneak into the playoffs have better MVP candidates because they're sneaking into the playoffs with 1 or 2 on the shoulders of 1 or 2 players.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Teams now just have so many players, or they have so many cogs into why they win. So
yeah, exactly.
So we're gonna have to get close to wrapping up here, but we'll quickly cover the season 54 start. Well, why don't we do what we usually do? I miss doing this. Let's each take a couple of things we'll highlight. Something in the North American Conference and something in the European Conference. It can be a team, it can be a player, it can be positive, negative. We'll each just kind of go around the horn and highlight something that we want to highlight from a pretty exciting season 54 thus far. There's been lots of discussion. It's been nice to see the league so active. We've had a plethora of returning members too. I'd be remiss if I didn't say shout outs to like Awful Homesick, and we had Turner return. We've had Nuck. We obviously had Anderson return a few weeks or maybe now a month ago. We've had a Kyle return too. I saw Korodek came back online.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Nice.
Yeah, we're trending up right now again, I think, and it's good to see. So welcome back to the league to those members. Welcome to new members. I've had some conversations with some new members, including like LaFlemme, which I've now seen Goon, so I know what player he is actually repping.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's returning too, right?
Oh, he is a returning? Okay, he's not a first
He
gen?
was Kuzi.
Oh, that's Kale Kuzi. Oh, man, the best Destiny player ever.
As well, I believe.
For Destiny, he would just run in and get himself killed, remember?
Oh, Leroy Jenkins?
Yes.
Huh?
You're thinking
that was Kitris. That was Kitris, sorry.
Ryan.
I thought Kitris's player was Kale. Was it?
No, Kitris is on our team, dude.
DeRossi.
Okay. Oh, right. You're right.
Fucking Christ, Ryan. Get your shit together.
He always uses DeRossi too, I'm pretty sure.
I hate working with amateurs.
Yeah, I'm an amateur. Listen, the moment I got delivered some Marco Polos from Poland, everything went to shit.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. This is the busy VHL cast. It's okay. Okay, so highlighting storylines from the North American Conference. We'll start with you, Kyle. Pick a North American Conference storyline.
Oh, man, well, I'm just going to take the really easy one because I haven't had time to think of anything. Let's talk about Jacob Holik because that motherfucker had a pretty good season so far. 9 wins, 1 loss. Their only loss being to the Stockholm Vikings. He's got a .956 save percentage, a .8 goals against average, and I think what's most impressive is 6 fucking shutouts
in 10 games played.
In 10 games played, like Jesus, dude. Like, do you even need a skate? Like, you could probably be winning games with like all CPUs at this point. Like, as long as one of them accidentally gets a goal in, like, doesn't matter what happens after that because at least it's going to stop everything.
I am going to highlight sticking in North American Conference. I'm going to highlight a rookie over on Quebec, leading all rookies in scoring. Obviously, Apollo Sky, a big reason why that team's doing so good. They're competing with New York for top spot. They might even have it. I think the two are tied in points at the moment. But lock coming up, he was a lock for the top rookie, and I did not pick him. I actually picked Jardy of all things. I just thought maybe playing on a line with the Shankly and Ravenwing would be better for Jardy. But
how's that been working out for you?
He's all right. He said Jardy actually has 11 points in 10 games. He's number 5
Fuck,
on
that's
this
like
list.
double me.
I know. Or 11 points in 10 games. Anyway, John Locke, 15 points, 9 goals too as a rookie. I think could be a big season for John Locke. I don't know if Quebec's played too many competitive teams at the moment. Kind of similar to New York. New York only just played Stockholm, Helsinki for the first time. But I think it's clear that Quebec is number 2 in North America, and I think John Locke is going to be a big part of it. So way to go, Draper. You always build good players. You're one of those. There's members out there, as you guys know what I'm talking about, that just seem to always figure it out with their players, And of course, Device has to highlight them because I'm so envious because I don't build players like that. Go ahead, Chris. North American Conference.
There was a man who went 71 games towards 1 goal and had it dashed in game 72. That man has started on his quest once again, and that is Bobby Digital, who has 0 goals in the first 10 games of this season and is looking for the illustrious 0-goal season.
Hashtag Digital Watch.
With 16 points, with 34 hits, and with over a shot block a game, he may just also bring some hardware home in the process.
Do you think he has a legit shot at top D if he doesn't score?
Yes.
Is it more impressive if he doesn't score? Like, let's say he stays second in points. Let's say Velvet finishes with like 100 and
no,
and
it's not
Digital
more impressive.
Let's just give an example. Velvet has less hits and less shots blocked, but finishes with like 20 goals and 100 points, so 80 assists. Bobby Digital finished with 95 points, all assists, but more hits and more shots blocked. Who do you vote for?
Depends on how many more hits and shot blocks.
Yeah, but that'd be crazy if he has another no assist season. He's obviously on pace to have less than 90 points too, by the way. He's only on pace to have like 80 something or 80 at best.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get a lot of points with just assists.
I mean, he always does though. He usually gets close to a point per game or over with just assists, or last season a goal.
Bobby Digital is on pace for 115 points, Ryan.
All assists.
Yeah.
He
has
happens,
1.6 points per game right now. So if he has 115 assists, he's pretty close to the record, I think, at that point.
Ravenwing also on pace to have a good assist season too, but yeah.
The thing with Digital is he's I'm curious how far he'll go with no goals. I want to see him do it.
Is he actually at 40 scoring?
Yes, he doesn't update scoring. He re-rolled following, and he initially was really worried about it. A lot of my team was really worried about the new update scale, but then after re-rolling, they realized, and they were comparing themselves to a lot of the other players who were dealing with the update scale, and they were like, oh, never mind. Because a lot of my attributes were only at like 95 or something, like it's actually not, I can spend the TP to get these to some of these important ones to 99. Like I still have the TP to do that. And I was like, yes, just because you're losing some attributes doesn't mean that you don't have the TP advantage over these other younger members to get these attributes to 99. That's the whole point of the change. Like, I feel like a lot of people didn't give the change like when we first announced it, they didn't run it through in their head about how it would work. And now as people are seeing how it works, they're like, oh, I thought this would really corrupt the league and really change how you earn and everything. And now more and more people are like, oh, okay, maybe there is something to this. It's like, yeah, we did, think about it for like a calendar year, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't worried about it, but that's because literally when we did it, my player didn't have anything above 85. So nothing happened.
Well, I'll give an example. Bekatov was really worried about how well DeGrath would compare to him now that this harsher update scale exists. And obviously DeGrath will be able to compare to him better no matter what. But I was showing him the numbers on how if you have an attribute at 95 and you want to get to the 99, if DeGrath has that attribute to 90, and there was a case where Bekatov had about 3 attributes in the mid to higher 90s that he was able to get to 99. DeGrath won't be able to get 3 attributes to 99 this season. That's over 100 TPE. That's the whole point of the new update scale. Holik is older with more TPE. He should have an advantage. He's earned hundreds of more TPE, right? That's the whole point of the update scale. So once he saw that, he was like, oh, and I'm like, I don't even know if Steezy will even try to get one of them to 99. I don't know if that's a good investment in TPE. It might be better to, as a lot of people do when they build players, they hit certain tiers. Like he probably will stop and get those 3 attributes to 95 instead, and then get him to 99 next season. And that's all fine. But yeah, that's, like I said, a lot of people doing rerolls this season too, which was good to see. I'm glad that people decided to take the opportunity to reinvest in their players. I saw some people rerolling, not even on my own team, but on some other teams, that they would decided to then, they put some points in the discipline and leadership initially, and because they had extra TPE, and this time they didn't, and instead they invested in other attributes. And does that really hurt? I mean, if you want to build discipline, it is, but if you don't, then.
No, but we had to give them the option, right? Because a lot of those guys, when they made some of their purchases, it was because they'd already capped, right? So you can't be like, well, fuck you, like you picked leadership and now you're going to have less scoring, because like if they had the choice, they would have put more into scoring. But
yeah,
okay.
Eastern Conference, since my parents will
be
here
European?
In like 12, European. My parents will be here in like 12 minutes, so I got to kind of get ready here. Storylines in the European Conference. I'll kind of take the lead right now.
Got it.
I have to go this direction. I don't see a way you can't go this direction, to be completely honest with you. I am going to go with the one and only Red de Graaf, ladies and gentlemen. The Stockholm Vikings currently sit tops in the European Conference, and I think they're going to sit there for the majority of the league, probably the whole season. I think they are better than Helsinki. I think everyone can agree with that. The only question is, for me, the question mark on their team was always, is Red de Graaf ready to take that next step? Not only in terms of winning in the playoffs, but how good of a regular season he's going to have. Can he challenge for a Shaw? Like with the godly stats of Sky and Holik right now, it doesn't look like it, but things will stabilize on their end. But de Graaf is really holding his own. He's obviously got 7 wins for them. 923 save percentage is nothing to sneeze at for a player in his third season. He's got a 1.84 goals against average. That's really good. He's got a shutout. I think he could easily, he might not finish tops in any of these categories, but he could easily finish closer to 930 in save percentage. He'll obviously, I think, finish underneath 2 goals against. I think he's going to, finally round out probably what was one of the weaker positions for Stockholm when it comes to competing. And I am happy to see Steezy have such good success with another player. So way to go, Rhett. Becoming an anchor for the Vikings, I think, which is fitting because they're a boat. So anyway.
Yeah. I'll go next. I'm going to talk about a team in general. And that team is the Helsinki Titans. Originally, I was just going to make a trolley thing about Astrid Moon, but after looking through his stats, I realized something about the team. The Helsinki Titans, through 10 games, have not lost a game in regulation yet, which I thought was weird for, 10 games. To look down, Helsinki G has played 1 game. They did win that 1 game, and he does ironically have better stats than Astrid Moon. But when I looked at Moon's got 5 wins and 4 overtime losses. So unless they have a mysterious third goaltender I don't know about, they have not lost a game in regulation. And now I'm going to look at their standing implications, because there's no way that they're in first, because there we go. Yeah, because the Vikings, we've only lost 1 game. But the Titans, despite being 3 wins down, are only 2 points behind. So, and who's to say how that could have postseason implications, right? There's obviously no Christ, I'm sorry. There's no overtime, or there's no shootout in Mother of God. There's no. I'm so sorry, guys. There's no shootout in the playoffs. So
there's no shootouts in the playoffs, correct? Yes.
Yeah, you have to go to overtime, and that's where they've been losing their games, right? So who's to say that they haven't stepped up their game?
And then we'll cut to Chris here, since I have to leave immediately, since I have to get ready. So go ahead, Chris. Your storyline from the European Conference.
Yeah, so Ryan mentioned that Locke's a lock for Rookie of the Year. I disagree, and I'm going to actually talk about the king of the rookies, which is Marcus King, who is a 930 save percentage right now.
Nice meme, bro.
And despite being on a not-so-great team, still a 930 save percentage is the 3rd best in the league, and I believe it would be the record for rookie goaltenders. If I'm not
that would be fantastic. I don't want to say I overlooked him, but I kind of forgot that Marcus King was a rookie. You know, there's so much turmoil, and initially he started on Calgary, keep in mind, but he was traded to Cologne. And if he's going to play games with Cologne with the shot totals they face, yeah, you're right. He definitely is a candidate.
And the thing
I
is,
forgot he wasn't still in Calgary, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll keep this short, but yeah, 4-4. Despite being on such a bad team, he's actually won 4 of 8 games, which is pretty good. And he is a 262 goals against average. And we can't forget, he also has 3 assists.
Damn, contributing to both ends of the ice.
Kendrick. We don't mean
he has the third most points on the Cologne Express right now.
We don't mean to speed this up. Sorry to you, Kendrick, but that's got to do it. I got to get out of here. So my parents are going to be here in literally minutes, so I got to get out of here. Sorry, guys, for cutting this short. I don't know if we've actually made it to the hour limit, but I think we're close.
We only have to hit 10 minutes in the VHL podcast, dude.
Yeah, we only have to do 10 minutes. So this has been this week's edition of the Pajodcast, live and in person. Thank you guys for following this new format, and we will see you guys all next